Welcome back to Keeping It Real with TNL. I'm Coach Ty, and I'm here with the amazing Coach Lori. Today, we're going to be diving into a hot topic, guys. We are back on the nutrition train. We're going to be talking the carnivore diet. We're going to give you guys some of the ins and outs. But before we jump into that, Lori has been on an amazing road right now with Netflix, all over the place, shooting videos, talking at places, keynote speaker work, and you're just doing a keynote speaker, or you're at an event in San Francisco.
Yeah.
I'll let you tell us about the details of that last week.
Okay, so a week ago today, I took Bart out to the city. Interesting, colorful place, the city. Interesting. I met with the women of Cornet Global's Northern California chapter, 3 of their co-chairs for lunch to present who I am and what I do, to be a keynote speaker for them in January.
Okay.
Right? It's an event, yes. But that being said, it was a lot of prep work because I want to really represent what I do with MetFix, how I want to help people. So we talked about women's health, future generations like Gen Z, because they're just like circling the drain with health. We see people younger and younger with health issues, right? And I also spoke to high power executive individuals like the women I was speaking to with the mindset shift of like, if fitness and nutrition is considered self-care, right? Self-care, do it. You're going to do it instead of, oh, I don't really keep up with my workouts or my food. I do the best I can when I can fit it in. And it's that shift in mindset that helps us as individuals. So I keep saying it, and I think I posted about it a day or two ago. Like, my favorite form of self-care are my workouts, like you said. In addition to that, I enjoy cooking and preparing food for my family and myself so that I know that I'm doing all I can to make us healthier, have more energy. That's the biggest thing. I think if everyone knew how much more energy they'd have for their jobs, for their hobbies, for their kids, for their own time, they would jump right on the bandwagon of healthier eating. But we don't always think about that, right? But 20 minutes served in the kitchen for an extra 5 hours of energy every day sounds like a great trade-off to me. So we talked about stuff like that. I'll look over my notes because so much is going on. I don't want to miss anything. I also wanted to give them a few actionable things they could do starting that day going forward. Because if I do present to their group in January, we're going to have breakout sessions. We're going to talk about setting goals for health, different things, and talk about easy steps. And I'll give you one. Just shop the perimeter of the grocery store.
I love that one.
It's so easy, and it's been around for decades. Like, I'm not profound. Like, oh my God,
yeah,
it's so provocative what you're saying right now. They're like, we've heard this. I'm like, well, we have heard this, but like, your meats and vegetables, nuts and seeds,
exactly.
Not packaged foods, and also explain to them the time saved when we just go buy the salad and rotisserie chicken in the grocery store instead of waiting in line and in and out with the 45-minute line or the 20-minute line. Like, we've talked about that. We talk about this a lot at our gym, so it's not new. But people don't know. We don't know what we don't know. And that's where I come in. Like, I want to come in and not just be like, oh, my God, it's so easy. Why are you all living like I'm living? Like, it's a process. And the understanding from the Netflix seminar, right, that the Ross hypothesis, like gluconeogenesis, all these things, they're like, oh, my God, that's why even when I was macrobalancing, I wasn't losing weight because of X, Y, and Z. And we get this understanding, and then they do know what they didn't know before. They get healthier, the family, their friends. They go out to company events, and they make healthy choices. That was another one. You're going out to dinner with the group. So, like, get a steak. Tell them to hold the oils. Like, hey, I don't need the canola oil to fry up my steak. Just give me some steak, grill it up. Leave the butter on. If you're keto or carnivore, do that. Get your vegetables, skip the starch. And if you must drink something and you're not a red wine imported from another country type of person, do a vodka with soda water and lime. And then after that one, just switch to soda water. Or if you're like me, start with soda water with lime and let people think you're that fun drunk when you're really just a good time. So that's kind of what we talked about. It was great. These women are amazing. I felt like we had been best friends our whole lives, hanging out at lunch before I presented.
So that's what I was going to ask you: is that how were they pretty receptive?
Absolutely. Actually, they asked me. One of the women is a mom. They're all moms. 2 or 3 are moms, and she asked if I worked with neurodivergent youth, and I'm like, actually, there's a nonprofit in my gym that does, and her daughter goes to the Puzzle Piece in Pleasanton. So she's like, I really need you to like talk about nutrition to the schools and help parents. And I was like, yeah, I'm working on that too. I have like 17 irons in the fire. And then the other woman, we had a very similar weight loss journey and divorce, things that fostered us into taking care of ourselves. So they had an understanding, but then needed to know more to get to their end result of what they need for kids and well-being. And so I'm all about that. Like whether I do their keynote for them or not with Coronet Global, it's immaterial. Like I'm happy to help in all the ways I can with these programs that I'm putting together to take outside of the walls of CrossFit San Ramon.
It already sounds like, for one, you already did that, but you also already added value to them. So
yeah,
something got done.
Yes.
Obviously, you were able to spread the message word and get out.
I've been getting out there. And can I share one quick thing about patient? Oh my gosh. 82-year-old woman and her 88-year-old husband cooks for them. They bought in completely on the food. And like her doctor would be happy with her morning glucose is 222. And in 3 weeks, it's like 92.
Whoa. Huh?
Like there's so many. I mean, I keep
I don't want people to think that there's a glitch in the podcast.
No,
292 to 92.
Yeah. And then the next one is like, okay, statin's got to go. I'm not going to get into cholesterol anymore. I talked about that. I'm like, guys, I'm going to give you a book to read, or I'm going to explain to you, like, until someone shows me that the LDL directly affects the heart, and then it's a problem with fat. Like, stop blaming fat for what the carbohydrates and sugars do. I've lived it. At the end of this podcast, ask me about my health in my 20s when I was low fat, high carb.
Okay.
Well, just you can bring it up, and we'll shoot the shit, and we'll keep it real. And you'd be like, "How are you 48 now in this new place of health, and in your 20s when you should have been thriving? You were like dying." Everyone I know, I've never met a person that's been healthy on high carb and low fat ever. Yeah. I've been doing this for decades, myself included.
It's almost funny because both of us have almost had an ugly duckling thing with our health and fitness, where it didn't quite start out great, but it sure blossomed into something amazing.
Yeah.
I would love to hear about that.
I'll tell you that. This last tidbit for my luncheon is I was able to stay carnivore. I just had salmon fillet with butter and no veggies, no nothing.
Oh,
so me trying carnivore.
Didn't even use this trip as an excuse, or, well, I'm obviously having to start my day way earlier, and I'm going to catch hard, and I'm going to have to speak, and every reason to justify putting the brakes on the food stuff. You chose to push that hard line.
I pushed the hard line, and I took just some sous vide sirloin in a bag to eat on the way back if I couldn't eat lunch. So it's like, you just got to think outside the box, because when your why is big enough, you'll find a way.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
I love that a lot. Now, so prior to us talking about that, obviously, as we mentioned, we're going to be talking about the carnivore diet. So, but the thing that we obviously want you guys to do, me and Lori, we're not being paid by anyone to say the things that we say.
No.
We just want to pass on information that we know has worked for us, and we believe that it could help others if they actually practice it. And by practice, I don't mean talking about it with your friends. Do you think this is good? I mean actually seeing what will happen if I try this. What will my result look like? So that being said, that's why the rest of this conversation and our podcast is going to be about the carnivore diet. We're going to talk from our own perspective, as well as some science-backed stuff that you may not know about the carnivore diet. And hopefully this episode will be something that you could obviously always pull to if you need to get the rundown of why carnivore may be the plan for you. So let's kind of dive in there. So as me and you both know, the biggest hiccup that we get with the whole carnivore diet is the feedback from others. Number one, this goes against everything I've been told. I've been told since I was a kid, eat my veggies and fruit.
Yeah.
Like that's the number one thing I'm always here. Fruit and veggies. That's how you get big and strong.
Yeah.
And this completely blows that out of the water by saying, hold on, break off the vegetables and fruits, stick with animal products, anything from an animal. We're talking beef, seafood, poultry, basically stuff from the hand of God, animal food.
Yeah. Dairy.
The dairy, that's cheese. So now we're dealing with some of that feedback. And that said, what I want to know is this. How do we overcome that? How do we overcome and get people to begin to see that carnivore may be the way that they should probably go, and that some of the stuff that we've been told about the whole fruit and vegetables might not be that bad, but there's a different way of looking at it.
Yeah, definitely.
Talk about that.
So what really resonated with me was I was at Rogue for the MetFix seminar, and Michelle Moots was doing art on the nutrition, and she actually went carnivore for 2 years, and it fixed all of her health issues, perimenopause, all the stuff. And that was the first time I'd ever heard anyone talk about carnivore from the perspective of hormone and reset. And you have someone who's naturally very petite and strong. She was actually my CrossFit level 1 coach. She's an enormously amazing athlete. She's the one that taught me the good morning into the deadlift that's kept my back strong my whole CrossFit life after my back surgery. So seeing her there was like phenomenal. So I trust her. Like people trust us. Like she's not going to come out and put her reputation on the line and present something for MetFix that's total bullshit and nonsense, right? Plus she's lived it. And I like that, right? Like
Yes.
It's hard if you're looking to lose weight and someone's never had to lose weight, tell you how to lose weight and how easy it is because they've never done it. So it's different, right? So I was thinking about it. And then I know like for a lot of what you do, you're carnivore for a long time, right? We'll get into that too. And then I was like, okay. Then the guy at the farmer's market where we buy our Prowler Ranch meat, he's like full of energy, showing us handstands freestanding in the middle of the parking lot in the damn building. He's carnivore and loves it. And I'm like, okay. But the one thing holding me back is that I can't eat dairy. Like dairy makes me so sick in America. Fine in Italy, not so much here. So I said to myself, Lori, you're putting together the back end of the small group training once in a lifetime weight loss challenge. And I knew that one member of it had done it before, and his doctor's like, no, your cholesterol's getting high. Get off of it, even though it was fixing diabetes, liver, and everything. It was like the most bizarre conversation. So I was like, okay, I'm going to do carnivore for a few weeks because I want to be that person that's living it and understanding. And he's like, what should I eat? Here's what I ate. Take pictures, share pictures. If I'm going to be a top-notch elite coach, nutrition, health, whatever, I'm going to walk the walk. Like, you're not going to roll into freaking Costco and be like, what are the Hawaiian sweet rolls doing in your cart right now? Oh, no, let's get in there and I'm eating them later. You'll never see that. Like, I'm telling you how I'm living, and I'm living that way. So I needed to try it. But the caveat was I needed to try to get dairy back in my system.
Okay, system.
So I do raw milk from Sprouts, and I do cheese from Italy, Asiago Fontina to be exact. And I just grabbed a raw milk cheese from the farmer's market on Saturday when I was getting all my beef. And once I'm done with the last ounce of the Fontina, I'll go to that. I'm fine. I'm eating cheese and dairy like I never had a problem with it. And I'll just spoiler alert now. In like 8 days, I had lost 5 pounds. And I'm already down low. Like you've watched the transition over the past few months.
I'm not calling you like super like skinny, but you don't have a lot left to lose.
No, I mean like we'll see.
Lean.
Like from here, okay, so I'm 139.5. Okay. For those of you that knew me when Tim and I got married, I was like 135. So, but I wasn't lifting
from your wedding.
Yeah, but I wasn't lifting heavy then. There was no barbell. I really pulled back on the heavy weights in CrossFit. I wanted just like sleeker. I wanted all the things. And now I'm PRing like what third or fourth strongest chick in the gym at almost 50, like doing all the things. So it's a very different body right now. But I did buy my size 4 Lucky Brand jeans last night. I'm wearing a Dave Matthews Saturday. So like my body's in a good place. And I'm like, okay, goal is to be 135 by September 29th, my 8-year wedding anniversary, and try my wedding dress that I have not been able to wear since September 29th, 2018, right? That was the goal. And it's not even a matter of like what I look like. I'm not going to get a boob job because mine all went away. Like I'm not that person. I'm not like really after an aesthetic about anything. I just want to see what my body can do because I'm tired of being told that old bodies can't do things. So I love to be the contrary person to that, right? So back to the dairy, like even on dairy, that I would jump 5 pounds overnight of just bloat from eating dairy before. And now I'm just like dropping 5 in 8 days. And it's wild to me because I'm not doing anything. I'm just eating meat. That's it.
Let's honestly, so I'm just
That's
curious. Just, just eating meat. So let's talk about the raw milk and the raw cheese, or the raw milk cheese. What brands do you recommend? And let's talk about taste, so we can kind of get that.
So I hate milk. We grew up drinking non-fat milk. It's like, dude, my mom following the 1976 Weight Watchers and like 1985, still giving us like it almost looked like a white blue color. It just smells like nasty. All sugar. Hey, why don't I pour non-fat milk on like my Cocoa Puffs and wonder why my kids are fat? What are we doing?
Make it make sense.
Make it make sense. We didn't know, right? So I am not a fan of milk unless it's in a cappuccino, like a little bit, right? Yeah. That's all. But the rawness, I don't remember the brand. There's only one place I can find it in all of San Ramon, and it's in Sprouts. And it's the bottom right corner, and you can buy it in a half a gallon or like a little, I don't know, a tiny thing of full cream. But it's the only one. It's the only one I can find in town. And not even Whole Foods, because now that they're owned by Amazon, they're not really about as healthy with stuff as they were before. Everybody knew that, right? It's like, oh shit. So yeah, it's good. And I think I know it's less processed, it's less all the different things. And then when it comes from Italy, like they're not spraying the grass and fields with all the crap that we do here. So you don't ask for like grass-fed organic meat there. You just get it, and the dairy is super clean and fresh. And that's what I was after. And it works.
And how's the cheese?
So delicious. Oh,
okay, because I have to try. So I haven't had
tomorrow.
About 8 months. So.
I'm gonna bring you some tomorrow. It's tomorrow, Thursday. I'm gonna bring you to barbell class. Let's go. Yeah. Oh my god, it's gonna be so good.
I'll have to give it a try.
Yeah. I make cheesy eggs. Or like today, you watch me like shoving food really fast because it's been like that 6.5, 7 hour stretch, and melted some dairy on the beef. It's so good. Yeah.
All right. No, not bad. So guys, this is obviously crucial. That is something else that we don't really mention, but that is the key. Is obviously not only with the carnivore are you doing the natural foods, it is by process of elimination forcing you to cut out all the processed foods. So that's the 2-in-1 that I really like about the carnivore is that it's going to force you to eat a lot more naturally. It's going to force you to get the food that you need that have the essential amino acids that you need, the essential fats that you need. But not only that, by you going through the process, the removal is just as important as the starting of the new eating habits because you're getting away from the processed foods and the things that, as Lori said, they're known to cause the bloat. They're known to cause the weight gain overnight, instantly, and keep it on you. Like that point where you could feel it in your cheeks when you look in the mirror and you could see it.
I know yourself. The inflammation. Oh.
Yeah, and so that's
hate that.
Yeah, and I like to focus a lot on the benefits of something so that you guys understand. Like, look, we could talk the process. We know it takes discipline, and we know it takes will to not have a pizza on a Friday night when you're tired and it's been a long week. But guys, think about how you would feel if you didn't have inflammation, if you didn't have bloat, if you woke up and you looked down and your stomach was in and your waist was small. That's probably worth skipping a pizza, if you ask me. I don't know.
Oh, I would.
I don't know. There's some people who is like, no, I've already given up and come to terms that they're going to be fat forever. If that's you, then maybe that won't work. But that type of stuff kept me going. Yeah. Now, let's get into some science points. So, guys, that's what I was talking about, the benefits, because not only are you going to feel good, you're going to start fixing some of the internal health issues, whether it be autoimmune diseases.
Yeah.
Not only that, by you cutting out some of the vegetables, even though vegetables are good, they contain oxalates and lectin, other things that cause us issues. Now, I wanted to take notes because I want to give you guys the proper information, but there's some other type of benefits that I want to talk about with the carnivore, but I don't want to miss any of the crucial ones. So, for somebody who just starts carnivore, and I can attest to most of these, this is what you can expect the first 2 to 6 weeks. You will have a little bit of glycogen depletion, and you're going to experience some instant weight loss. That's usually water. And then after that, you're going to begin to notice a shift in how your body begins to process food. Because as you begin to actually clean out what you are eating, the digestive system kicks back up and it starts to work the way that it's supposed to, because it's actually able to process real food, what it was meant to process. It was not meant to process things made in factories, which is what causes most of our issues. So that's just within 2 to 6 weeks. And the other thing that you're going to see is an increase in fat oxidation, because your body will begin to reach for fat for fuel instead of carbs, because you've been removing them. So when your body gets into that habit of beginning to reach for fat storage for its energy source, that is kind of that real sweet spot. Because then all that quote unquote stubborn fat that's just kind of been sitting, those are those storage pockets where your body's like, where's the sugar at? It's not here. Where's the carbs at? It's not here. Well, I guess I better go to where I know there's something, and then it starts getting into the fat. So that's the thing. That's very, very crucial with the carnivore. Now, medium. This is when someone has been on this for 2 to 6 months, what they can expect. Number one, steady fat loss. Energy stabilization. No more carb crashes.
Yeah.
Oh, carb crash.
It's carb crash. It's dangerous.
The hormones begin to change. We often see an increase in testosterone and balanced insulin and lower leptin.
Yeah.
Digestive changes. You're going to be able to process food a whole lot better. You're going to be feeling like your food is not only when you eat it, you begin to feel satiated, but you don't start to feel that little kind of groggy feeling or what's going on down there, like how we would feel after having, let's say, a crumble cookie or something like that, where it tastes great going in, and then for the rest of the day, you're like, what did I just eat?
Yeah.
Exactly.
What did you just eat?
Yeah.
Nobody
Exactly.
knows. It's provocative.
And then not only that, you're going to be seeing some improvement in some biomarkers. So we're going to see probably a decrease in the triglycerides, HDL up, the LDL is going to be good, all these great things. And now let's talk about what you could expect if you make this 6 months. And like I said, the things that we're talking here are going to be things that you are going to only experience if you take this journey. One of the things that I love that Coach Lori had mentioned, I was willing to test it. I was willing to see it. I was willing to put it to the test to see if it works. One thing that you guys don't really know, because you don't get to hang out with Lori like I do, she does that with a lot of things. She's willing to not just look and make some harebrained, like, nope, this is bad, this is good. She's always like, you know what? Let me see. Let me test it out and see. She did this when she did the glucose monitoring for us, and she gave us amazing feedback with that. She's done it with slow carb, and she gave us all the feedback with that. And now she's doing it with carnivore. It's like that. She already said it, but it's one thing to have a coach who actually practices what they preach and can literally go back in their mind, not a book, to tell you what that diet or what that way of eating did for them. That's the true golden standard. And it's so hard to come by, because most coaches, I'm not knocking anyone, but I know most coaches are normal humans where they'll eat right 5 days a week here at the gym. And then on the weekend, you'll catch them down at Auburn, hanging out the bar, drinking, living life. And not that that's bad, but it's a very different mindset, as opposed to having a coach who's like, I will do it for 4 weeks straight without fail and tell you this is what it will do and this is what it won't do.
Yeah.
So back to some of those last things, guys. We're going to see a reduction or remission of autoimmune conditions. We're going to see higher muscle preservation due to the constant amino acid supply. Not only that, the gut will begin to adapt to the style of eating. And the number one thing, well, one of the number one things that I like, and I will talk about my experience, is the mental state. Many report anxiety, reduce, and improved mood. And then last but not least, for some of our beauty people out there, change in the skin. You're going to see a lot less acne, zits, or pimples, or spots. And because the animal food also supports nails, skin, and hair. So those are some of the main benefits that you would get with the carnivore diet. So like I said, that's the only reason that I wanted to read it, because it is a lot of stuff. But I don't want anyone to question, like, why should we do this? What are you going to get out of it? All those things, to me, reading them sound amazing. And I know for a fact that not a lot of people have that level of mental clarity. There's a lot of people who don't know what it feels like to actually have their body working for them and not against them.
Yeah.
And that feeling, once you experience it, it will make the discipline it takes to keep that lifestyle much easier. Because a lot of people don't know because they don't know the contrast. They've been living in the state of eating whatever they want, not really working out or somewhat working out. And this has just become their norm. So what you don't know how good it could be. And so that's how come we'd rather share this info, share our insight, and hopefully inspire you guys to test it out yourself and let us know about those results.
Yeah.
But like I said, those are just some of those benefits of the carnivore diet. So, Lori, now you obviously, we were talking about symptoms disappearing and all that kind of stuff. Now, let me ask you this. Have you had pushback with getting any of your clients or anyone to consider carnivore? Or when you try to pitch that, what do you usually hear as kind of the counter feedback?
It's hard. So the whole cholesterol myth that we've been fed for half century plus makes it hard because we're still living in this like nonsense of like cholesterol meds, LDL, not looking at the triglycerides and the HDL, and thinking that saturated fats cause heart problems. They don't. Again, we'll talk about my blood when I was low fat, high carbs, and you'll be like, holy shit. Talk about unhealthy, right? So people get nervous about that. And I'm like, well, obviously, if you switch to only saturated fat, your LDL will go up a little bit, but it'll go down when your body adapts to what you're doing. So when I started this a week and a half ago, the only carbohydrate I was getting were vegetables. And then I'd have like macadamia nuts and raw cashews. So meat and vegetables and nuts was all I was eating, right? So for me, there was enough of an imbalance of my omega 6 and 3 from like snacking on nuts when I was hungry. Because I would still, want a little bit more food. I train hard, so it's not like I'm overeating. I'm at like 14 to 1600 calories a day and I do super hard workouts. So you get a little snacky once in a while. But so my triglycerides and HDL are like people would chill for them, right? Going in. So it's a good standard of knowing where I'm starting, check midway, and then check again at the end and see how the numbers fall. But what I want people to understand is like the difference in energy, because I'm already fat adapted. I just put out the gluconeogenesis understanding of that your body makes glucose and puts glycogen stores in the muscle from fat and protein. So we could get past that misnomer, right? Everyone, myself included, when my daughter was little, it was like, we got to give her carbs. That's what develops her brain. Like everyone, but the brain's like 73% cholesterol. It's just so crazy. Hindsight is absolutely 2020. But the thing is like we adults that CrossFit hard, elite level, whatever it is, like you're not going to not have energy doing this. So for the people that are like, I don't want to give up my training for carnivore, I'm like, actually, you're going to have to make more time to train more because you're going to have more energy. Like I did 8 super intense workouts last week in 6 days. The barbell ones were elite level for at least half. Oh, snatches is so heavy. Then we had the double down workout on Saturday at advanced class. Oh, no. And that was no joke. Like I even tore a little bit. I do so many pull-ups and different things. No shortage of energy. Oh, I'm there. Still working on starting up MetFix, still running CrossFit San Ramon that's about to hit 17 years. Like it's not like I'm coasting through. I'm thriving. Like like I told you, it was like my lunch meeting was 2 months ago. Because so much has happened in a week of just doing and getting stuff done. Right. So it's the biggest concerns are cholesterol, energy. What am I going to do without glucose in my body? And we've addressed all 3. So if you trust me and know that my biggest why has always been and will always be Ashley, my daughter. I'm not going to do anything that's going to put me in harm's way and live a shorter life, because there's nothing I want more than to be 90 and enjoying great grandchildren and still loving my daughter, right? So this is my retort to all the
absolutely
fear. that's been driven into people's minds for a long time. Yeah.
No,
In all fairness.
and it answers it all, and it answers from a point of experience, which is even better.
Yeah.
So I know that one of the next things that you're going to be asking me is about my experience with carnivore.
Absolutely.
So I will talk about it because right now I'll be honest, I'm not doing carnivore currently right now. I'll explain that. But I did carnivore last year. I want to say about August 15th until my birthday, which was November 9th. And that's when I first did carnivore. So I will talk about how I heard about carnivore. I heard about carnivore, I think, back in 2021, 2022, because Joe Rogan did it during COVID, and I guess he had lost like 35 pounds, and there was this before and after pic of him, just like from where he was to after carnivore, his abs were showing and all. And so I'll be honest with you guys, carnivore to me, when everybody was like talking about it back then, I kept saying, "Oh, you just need Atkins, right?" Because that's what I had basically thought Atkins was. Because when I had first lost my first 200 pounds, now that I look back at it, I was doing carnivore technically. And the reason that I say that the the only food that I was eating that I could truly tell you guys wasn't carnivore was in the morning with my 3 eggs. I did have a premier protein shake, but that's because I didn't know any better. It's already 400 pounds, so I thought any protein shake was better than the ones that I wasn't eating.
Yeah.
But so that was the only quote unquote carnivore aspect. But it was still 3 eggs and a protein shake, and then my lunch was it was obviously because I was in Idaho, I was able to get my hands on real venison and jerky that hadn't been processed. And then I would make my own chicken, and then I'd also make steak. So it was basically the eggs and the protein shake in the morning. And then throughout the day, it was the jerky and the stuff that I would get from the hunters for my snack. And then I would obviously just cook chicken and steak because I love eating chicken and steak. And when I knew that it didn't matter about the skin, I was like, okay, I could do this all day.
All day.
So that was truly how I had first lost most of my weight, but it was still at that basic point of removing carbs, removing sugar, removing alcohol, and sticking with the plan for a long extended period of time and seeing real results. That result got me 200 pounds of weight loss. It changed my life. We've already talked about that story. Now, I'll tell you about carnivore done right. And that was, like I said, August 15th of 2024 until November 9th of 2024. And the thing that had pushed me to want to do it is because I noticed I was beginning to slip back into not my old habits, but we'd go out to a restaurant and I'd have a piece of bread and butter or something like that. And so I was like, hey, the birthday's coming up. Let's start cutting a little bit so you can feel good. And I was like, let me see what happens with strict carnivore. So I went through the strict carnivore process. I want to say within 2 weeks, I noticed a major change, and that was in my working out. I had thought that I was going to feel a little bit tired and exhausted from not having like any type of carbs. And not only did I feel great, like Lori said, I felt myself moving faster than people around me at that time. And I kind of felt my body, feeling different. Like I wouldn't know how to explain it, but I just felt a little bit stronger than I was. Now, I don't want anyone to get off the wrong idea. I was already still healthy up until then, but I felt better. And I also felt like the other thing that I had noticed instantly was the reduction in my stomach popping up.
Yeah.
Some of the bloat and the indigestion that would come either from the alcohol or from kind of snacking on a Sunday and kind of sitting around. I noticed that completely stopped. And so my Mondays, it wouldn't be like, let me throw on some sweatpants and then I'll go back to shorts by Wednesday. It was like, no, I could wear what I want right now.
Yeah.
And so I had noticed that with the carnivore as well. And then the other thing that started to look good again, I began to slowly kind of see my abs again, which I hadn't seen most of the summer. So I started noticing, oh my God, I'm losing fat. I'm feeling good. And then I think I had lost about 15 pounds during that little stretch. Not a crazy amount, but for me, I was pretty happy with that. And I was like, dude, this is still the way.
Yeah.
And so I've always been someone who backed the carnivore diet because I know what it did for me. And the other reason that I've always chosen or went with that plan is because I know for me, it is something that I can sustain for the rest of my life. I can eat barbecue every day. It's not hard for me. And when I was in Idaho, I would barbecue steak every day. After my gym, I would literally just pour carb on the grill, light it, I'd go in the house, season it up, throw it on, salt. Once they came off, boil, slice, go. Like that was literally because that's what helped me because it tasted good to me. So that's how the carnivores always work for me. That said, it is true. It does take a little bit of discipline because you will be tempted, because there are certain things that you're like, well, Ty, I'm no longer eating cake and ice cream, but like Lori said, you might start craving drinks and some of the other fun stuff. And that's where things start to get tough. So you got to be cognizant there. But I could say with my own personal experience, I didn't have not one negative when I did the carnivore. And so just to kind of say what I'm doing now for my food, the only reason that I can't tell you guys that I'm technically doing carnivore is because I eat asparagus in the morning and I eat blueberries on Saturday. So that's why I technically can't tell you that I'm doing carnivore. But if you want to know what my food looks like, it's still the same. It's chicken, it's beef, it's eggs. That's it. And that's what works. And Lori can attest. I do all the same workouts that Lori does. Not only that, we push ourselves. And there's never a point where we're not finishing at the top of the class in anything that we do. But not only that, we feel our best as well. And we don't eat carbs. We don't eat sugar. Don't do that. And the other thing that I love, you could go back to episode 1 of our show and see how we look. And watch this episode and see
It is
how
different.
there's the noticeable change in both of us is across the board. But that's because starting this year, we knew we were going to do some big things. And we wanted all of that to be documented and seen by everybody, from her starting the business, from my own programs and things that I've done. But we wanted to show you guys that we can not only do it, but we can live it. Because that you can't deny results. You could sit and I watch guys on podcasts talk about fights they've been in, talk about stories and all this nonsense, and just them talking. You guys haven't done the dinner thing. You guys aren't good. That just sounds good on YouTube, but it's not real. But that's what separates us is that we're speaking with two of the people who are actually doing it so we could give you guys the true, genuine feedback of what this diet can do and what it will do. And when you look at us, it should be apparent. They must be doing something that's working because not everybody has gotten this type of result. So that is my own personal experience with carnivore.
Love that.
You got any questions, Laura, about that?
No, I love that. And I will say this. So Emily, founder of Broken Science Metrics and Society, you go back and forth on text and DM and she start carnivore. And I was like, I can do dairy. I'll give it a try. Right. And then we were checking in and she'll do her carnivore with berries. And some people, I think, Bobby Kennedy, a lot of people that are big on nutrition and understanding of it will add in berries, meat and berries, and that's it. Yeah, which is really interesting. Most people do allow caffeine, right? But no other. There's little variations, but they all come down to the same thing. And this is my point on this, is that you've taken out things that can skew that omega-6 rebalance in the body, which drives inflammation. So for my people that are paleo and they go beyond the 2 ounces of nuts a day through the nut butter, which is now a processed, packed full amount of omega-6s, they'll still have some inflammation, right? Like for me, maybe the macadamia nuts and the cashews are just more fat than I really needed throughout the day. Now, like people talk about food noise, and I have to look down and be like, oh, my energy's coming down. Oh my God, it's been 7.5 hours since I've eaten. And I was hypoglycemic forever. Talk about that too, right? So I've been on that unhealthy side of blood sugar from shit diets that are low fat, high carb. And so you're like, oh. And so then I would ask ChatGPT to tally my food to make sure I was eating enough. And I was fine. But that same amount of calories that I'm eating now, carnivore, when I was macro balancing, I wouldn't lose any fat here. Because again, not all foods are created equal. So when you're eating meats and only animal products from good, healthy sources, you've eliminated stuff that's going to put carbs, sugar, or drive inflammation in the body. And some vegetables do that. Apples do that. The leptin or the lectin that we were talking about. Too much fiber, all the different things and that's why it's beautiful. If you're looking for a reset, if you're considering Ozempic because you can't get your food under control or food noise or whatever it is that's driving you, try carnivore for a month. And then you just did it without any side effects. You've reset, right? So even as healthy as I've been going with everything I know from Metfix, I wasn't doing anything wrong. I just wasn't at a point where it was enough to burn more body fat faster for me to drop the weight, right? Like it was just kind of like a plateau. And then I'm like, we'll have to try this for the member and weight loss challenge coming up. So let's do it. And then I'm like, oh my God, you don't know what you don't know. So try it. Like you're not gonna have heart problems from doing carnivore for a month. And if you have pre-existing kidney disease or one kidney or something like that, and you're on limited proteins, it's still a mostly that kind of way. I'm in ketosis all the time on carnivore, right? Because you're getting all that the saturated fats, the good fats from clean animals that are grass-fed, pasture-raised, wild caught. So it's actually quite good for the heart. But,
this whole entire heart thing, I'm already over that. If you're going to argue about the heart stuff, you better not eat ice cream. You better not eat sugar if you're going to come and talk to us. That's all I got to say. I will hear you out, but your diet better be as clean as ours for us to even listen. I didn't say follow. I said just for me to listen. It better be as clean.
And then a few weeks ago, the Monday Fix was about visceral fat. And that's important too, because you'll see people that are athletes and do stuff, a sport outside of CrossFit, and they carry abdominal weight or lipotoxicity. We've got the little frame pictures now in the hallway. You can learn more as you're waiting for that. There's something you're eating that is driving the visceral fat, and it's carbs and sugars, the glucose that your body's fighting so hard to get put into the cells, and the insulin's more and more and more, and you're insulin resistant than you don't think you are because you don't consider prediabetes to be a problem. It's a problem. If you're pre-diabetic, I just call you diabetic because unless you make a change, you're only going one direction.
Yeah.
Type 2 diabetes, right? So if you're carrying a lot of fat in the abdomen, meaning there's that visceral fat around organs, because things are not working well with the foods that you're eating, you have to step them up to see bigger eating. There's no pill on the
No.
Diabetes medication doesn't make you not diabetic. It manages it's the most ridiculous thing, right? Like you have an illness that is literally caused by what you're eating. You have a carbohydrate metabolism problem. Just went over this last night in the diabetes course on Broken Science. It's fucking mind blowing. I'm going to drop the F-bomb right here. And I'm reading that and I'm saying it over and over again. And I'm like, I need to make a post about this. Because what is type 2 diabetes? It is your body catching up with the inordinate amount of carbs, be it fruit, ice cream, pies, bread, whatever it is, right? And that poor pancreas is like, insulin, insulin, insulin. And it's going crazy, going crazy. And then they treat it by giving you more insulin to help get the glucose out of the blood instead of saying, stop eating the foods that jack up your insulin and fuck up your numbers. Like, can we just say it? Can we just say it out loud? So why is my patient not needing her diabetes medication that did nothing for her because all she did was change her food? I'm just asking, like if it, and it's, the thing is this is one of 50 studies that I've just on people that I work with and know or family or myself. Like, it's not like I'm just like, oh, it's a really sexy new groundbreaking idea. It's not. I'm regurgitating facts that have been out forever. You don't care about because your doctor has less than an hour of training on food. So why are you taking a pill that gives you insulin to deal with the glucose that's coming from what you're putting in your mouth? I'm asking for a friend.
Exactly.
Like let's rip off the Band-Aid at this moment in time.
And this isn't like this is within the real world. Like this is a systematic problem that stretches even in a place where you guys may not ever go. I will tell my own perspective. So I work in state prison. During state prison, there's multiple jobs that you could have in the prison. Sometimes one of those jobs is called medical officer. The medical officer is basically the person who does all the pills, all the insulin stuff for all the inmates. And literally, before dinner, every time, right before we start sending inmates to the chow hall, we would do something called medline for all the insulin inmates. And they would literally come down, sit in line, get a shot just so they could go eat some more carbs and stuff their face. As opposed to the state just saying, well, we control when they sleep and when they use the bathroom. We might as well also what? Control what they eat and maybe fix this problem.
Yeah.
And maybe now we don't need to have 800 nurses here and 800 different people just to give insulin.
Yeah.
The money that would have been saved from that. And I could attest that's done at every meal, every night, every morning. There's this massive thing called the med line or the insulin line where inmates literally just walk down to get insulin so they go stuff their face with pancakes and syrup. Craziness. Craziness.
I'll tell you this. So I've never been diabetic and no one ever diagnosed my insulin resistance for decades. But as a fertility aid and being able to have Ashley, they put me on metformin, which is a generic of glucophage for type 2 diabetics pill, right? Like, I mean, granted, this is why I'm not a fan of using diabetic medications for anything else. Like, it really did a number. I'm blessed I was able to have Ashley. Granted, we both almost died during the emergency C-section, but I have her, and it was worth it. But the way my body felt, like it's just surges of insulin. I'm already making too much because I'm insulin resistant, which is why I'm having fertility problems. But no one can fucking figure it out. So why do people who can't get pregnant come to me and then they can't get pregnant? Because they'll just go to the food. Like every autoimmune disease, fertility issue, insulin resistance, anything. Obviously, I'm not type 1 diabetic, which I have a lot of questions about since that's autoimmune, but I'm working through these questions with brilliant people. I'll have answers. If you want to fix the problem and you go back to the source, the problem, generally, and by generally, I mean like 95 to 98% of the time, it's what goes in right here. I've never cured anyone of their incurable autoimmune disease without completely revamping this thing. I've never seen a type 2 diabetic come off their medication without food and fitness. Like, it's always the same. It's always the same. And honestly, if I come across someone that does everything by the book and they get sicker, I'll be the first one to tell you, like, what's happening here?
Yeah.
We have to study this. Like, because I'm not here to keep a narrative going that isn't the way. Like, if this is the Mandalorian, this is the way. Baby Yoda right here looking all cute. We're all dialed in now watching the show since he's so cute. I know it's not Baby Yoda, so nerds is back off me right now. But my point is this, like, this is absolutely the way for everything.
Mm.
Even Alzheimer's and dementia. That's a whole other episode we'll get into. We will get into that. We'll get into that definitely. But these are the things to talk about. Like, why are you giving people whose insulin resistance through them is type 2 diabetes? They're not done making insulin like type 1s. They're making too much. So why are we like, hey, I'm going to get you off crack by just pumping you full of crack? Why is it not work? Methadone clinic, San Francisco, that worked out really well. Do you see what I'm saying, though? Did that help the problem? Did that fix the addiction? Did that fix what's happening in the body?
Just got hooked on methadone.
Yeah. And now the streets are, now the whole city's broken for everybody. Like, it's crazy. These are the things we're talking about when we keep it real.
No, and that's how come I love this episode, because you guys are not going to get these truths from too many places, and it's even better because there's times that I really feel like this is a pirate podcast in the sense that we are standing on what we believe in, despite what the narrative that's ever been written is saying. And not only that, we are standing on someone who's practiced it.
Yeah,
that's what I love. Like it gets me upset sometimes knowing that people would rather listen to individuals who have zero health themselves, but because they may have went to a top school, we have to listen to their knowledge. It doesn't even make any sense. So you're listening to someone tell stuff that they don't even practice, that they don't even do. And you're like, no, that's the way. Clearly not. They're not doing it. Or they're probably doing it and they're not getting the same results. As opposed to us two who eat right, work out every single day. We show you what we eat. If you follow us on Instagram, you more posts for food or meal prep, how to do it, what to do it, host a cooking class. It's like we are giving away everything, all the secrets, all the quote unquote secrets. And guess what the secret is? Eating right and working out. That's the secret. That's what's been hidden from the ages, apparently. That right there.
That's true.
That's the most best kept secret that nobody seems to know. Oh my God, you mean that if I just eat healthy foods, like real foods and real meats, and I work out, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 times a week, I'll be fine? Yes. Yes. That's it.
Yes.
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 That's it.
And we're not going to charge your insurance hundreds of thousands for you to get there. We just told you. Like there it is.
So the only thing that you need to look at from this point on, having that info is one thing: the person in the mirror.
Yeah.
Are you being lazy? Do you not have any willpower or any discipline? Is someone putting a gun to your head and forcing you to eat the things that you're eating? Probably not. It's personal choices. So just like you have a personal choice to eat like crap and live a terrible life, you have a personal choice to eat right and work out and live an amazing life. That's all this is. It just depends on what choice you're willing to make. And we try to make that choice easier by giving you the facts, because Lori and I have lived on both sides of that fence. So we could speak on both sides of it.
Yes. I mean, we understand behavior. We understand the emotional aspect. No one, being the two of us are the only two people in this room right now, we're not saying that, oh, it's so easy and flip a switch. And for some people it is, and for some people it's not. Food addiction, sugar addiction is wild. Like, have you ever tried to unwind your toddler off sugar? Have you ever given your 1-year-old the birthday cake and pull away and they're just like, their eyes start bulging out of their head, like you're literally taking away their oxygen? Like, sugar addiction is no joke. So find yourself people watching this are all over. You got to find someone that's going to work on that with you. Talk about the behavior, have a therapist, have a counselor, have someone to talk to about that, right? When you unravel, like for us emotional eaters, you've got to go back to the point where you can really look back, like, when did this start? We're already eating shit food, but when did shoveling it in inordinate amounts become a thing? Because it was an emotional crutch, right? Like a pacifier for the baby. Shut them up. A box of Keebler Elf cookies for me. Boom. Hometown buffet with family. Right? We know this stuff, like, literally. Yeah.
It was so funny too. So I was at a family event this weekend and I watched, well, I could say it's a relative of mine, but I don't mind calling out, give their child some soda. And I was like, why would you do that?
Yeah.
What are you thinking right now? And then there's, you don't know what it's like. If I don't give it, it's going to be a big, huge thing. And I was like, so let me ask you this. So you know it's bad, right? Like soda and sugar and all the stuff that I say, because I know you follow me. And they're like, yeah. But you gave it to your kid. And then you told me that I don't understand. So let me ask you this. And this is exactly what I said. Did you give that to your kid to make him happy? Or did you sacrifice your kid's health for your fucking peace?
Option B, right?
That's the truth.
Yeah, that's the truth.
So don't try to sit and tell me just because I don't have a kid I don't know. At least I know that I'm not going to sacrifice my kid's health, peace, and quiet. Let them become fat and sloppy so that they have to come and hear our kids tell them how to live right eventually.
Yeah.
Like,
no, really.
And that's the truth. Like that. Like, ask yourself that. Are you doing it because it's convenient for you?
Yeah.
Your kid doesn't know the difference. You could sit and tell your kid that there's sugar and soda. That is like speaking Spanish to me. It means nothing.
Yeah.
So you know that the personal choice that you made by letting your kids do these things and force these issues, you're not doing it because you want them to be happy. You're doing it because you want your own piece of self-respect. That's the truth.
And what is it?
So look at that.
Yeah, you have to look at that. And that's true. And I've been a parent that's like, here's the phone. Like, you're at a restaurant. We've all done it. So I get it. But I never let my kid sick. Yeah. Well, I'm saying that. So you can say, shit. That's a funny point with this. Oh, by giving your kids soda to get peace just made them a crackhead for the next 3 hours.
Yeah.
Especially if it was caffeine. Do you imagine?
You're not going to get peace anyway.
So you really just like made it infinitely harder on yourself. And I think, that's why the one woman, the co-chair of Carnivore Diet, it's like, please talk to the teachers. It's been giving my child sugar at every point for every one. And I thought about this. I was talking about before on the episode about feeding kids. Like everybody has their kids medicated for ADHD and attention span and hyperactivity. But at school, even if you're not feeding them, like standard American breakfast cereal with sugar and non-fat milk, and also, they're 90 grams out the door. The teacher's handing out lollipops and oh my God. Like,
I remember as a kid, said
everything's
a little Valentine's Day box, get all candies.
No, but yeah, you make your own box and you like carry it home is heavy. Somebody's mom's an overachiever. She's extra. And there's like someone, everybody got their own personal cake.
Well,
And you're like, happy Saturday. I don't know what to call it right now. Valentine's Saturday. Like it was wild. But teachers get so exhausted with 30 hyperactive, popped up on sugar kids that they give them treats to like pacify that, not realizing that it just makes their job hard too. And we forget that. We do. We forget that. I can't imagine what I'll feel like when I have like a piece of fruit again or something with sugar. I'll just run down the hill, do the back squat and run workout, maybe do mirth to just burn it off. Like, I don't even know what to do with this. That'll be like wild. Because I'm this energetic without carbs. So what's going to happen? And I'm like, I've done enough carnivore. It's a good reset. And now I'm going to just go back to like vegetables and fruit here and there. It's going to be like, yeah. Literally for my birthday, you probably just give me a little nectarine and this they're running around people on my back. Farmers carry people.
What's going on?
Let's go. Firemen carry. So yeah, the takeaways are this. Don't shit on it until you've tried it. It's doable. It's delicious. You'll be satiated. It cuts down food noise. Your groceries bill is actually less because I'm not throwing away vegetables that we never ate. Dude, fucking $6 for just the bag of like the organic lettuce now. And you're like, remember when I was like $3.99 before COVID? Yeah. I mean, everything's before or after, right? And so we're not throwing that out anymore because at the heart of it, you and I really gravitate towards the protein anyways. And that metabolic flexibility, that gluconeogenesis that we talked about, all these different things give you so much energy and health. So you don't have to try it, but don't shit on other people's drinks. People like, because you don't know. You've never tried. You don't know the health behind it. It sounds exciting. You're like, Time Warrior, an example, I want to do it. Or you're like, no. But I'll end with this from my point of view. When I was doing the low fat, high carb diet, Snacko cookies, remember those? The little, it's like cake in the middle with a film of marshmallow and coated in chocolate.
Coated in chocolate.
You couldn't pronounce anything on the box, but hey, I got a little hankering. It's okay. It's because it's low fat. Oh my gosh. Weight problems, skin problems. I'm sure, let's be honest. Fertility problems that came in the late 20s. Blood work was always shit, never had energy, never worked out. I got through grad school. I did all that, but just living such an unhealthy life. And my blood work was garbage because low fat, high carb is literally the shittiest no science fat diet on the planet. And it got revived again in the 90s. And I was tired of being fat, but I was never thin.
Even with
that.
All this fat-free, healthy stuff. Dude, I remember now that you bring it, I remember fat-free pudding when I was a kid. That thing was 0 grams of fat, 17 grams of sugar, 0 grams of protein.
Yes.
And they were served that like with a straight face. This is where it's at right here. You got that fat-free pudding from, bro.
Jello pudding pops, all the shit.
Straight sugar the whole entire time.
No, the whole time.
They were trapped and they were literally building up this obesity epidemic that you guys see right now. This was built by that.
Absolutely.
And
it was built by design.
Yes, It was built by design to fatten up a generation. And now that they're fat and grown up, what do? We have all the insulin they need. We have the Ozempic that they're going to need and all the things to try to reverse what we gave them.
Yeah.
But once you use those meds, you're going to develop more symptoms, which don't worry, they'll have you covered. They'll have more stuff that you're going to have to eventually take in. Yep.
Yeah, they stack.
And then you eventually become the person at home with the classic Sunday through Saturday pill container. That's the future of the snack wars days.
Yeah.
And that way of thinking.
Yeah.
That's what that leads to.
And no one's impervious because now all these elite athletes are type 2 diabetic. That's where Berta Health came from, the founder. Like, let's talk about it.
It was a big
we already talked about it. So Google, research it, right? We're not.
It's the Berta Health guy who's doing like triathlons,
everything.
Iron, what do they call it? Ironmans.
Yeah. And he's like, why am I a diabetic? And he's friends with Greg Glassman, thank God. And then he heard the truth and he's like, I got to change what I eat. So yeah, these are the things. So again, we just tell you what we've experienced, what we are experiencing, what our patients, clients, family, friends, what we've lived through. I feel like at some point something will resonate with the person that needs help the most, and that's why that's why we do this. 5 people watching, 5 million doesn't matter. Like, we're getting information out there in a world where information is hard to find. So the next time you're offered a prescription, you need to ask your doctor a few questions. How long do I need to take this until it fixes the problem? Blood pressure, cholesterol, thyroid, etc. Right? How many of your patients come off it and have their health restored?
These are good questions.
And then how many people get on other medications, especially for the liver side effects of your prescriptions? And these were the questions I asked when they wanted me on thyroid meds for the rest of my life, because I knew I'd be dead from the liver failure that it brought about faster than I'd get any relief from a pill that does the work of the thyroid, not fixing the thyroid. This is how you get to the root of autoimmune illness in the person, right? But ask those questions.
Absolutely. Hey guys, like, I don't want to sound like a 90s after school program, but
do it.
Yeah. If your doctor's offering you drugs, you're not getting, just say no.
Just say no. Dude, white cup pulls up in a fan in the back window. Hey, want ice cream in this pill to make you break down the ice cream? Let's go.
Let's go.
Like, stranger danger.
No.
I don't know. Run away? What do we do now?
Walk away.
Do we scream? Draw attention? Is someone saving you?
Something. White coat. Just shout like, no.
Oh, the red coats. It's the white coats. They're really got to worry about right now. Seriously. Yeah.
That's the truth, guys. But hopefully this episode was helpful. Obviously, maybe the next episode, since me and Lori shared with you guys how we kind of eat and our diet, maybe we'll share next week the actual fitness program that we follow, as well as what we've done and the results that each of those programs have gotten us in their own way.
So, that
sounds cool to kind of be like part 1, part 2. This is what we eat. This is how we train. So that we're putting everything on the table so you guys have a full understanding of what has helped us get the results that we have.
Awesome.
All right, guys. As always, Ramon, keep it classy. We'll see you guys next week.